Hello guys! For this year's PvP event, I've came up with a hybrid Dragon Knight build. A lot of people were asking, are hybrids worth it and what sets do I use, so I thought I would make a build video. Bear in mind, I've never done videos of that sort, and this is my first time, but here we go. So, are hybrids worth it? Absolutely. When I made this build, I was fully expecting that it will not work, but I was blown away by how much damage and survivability it has. In my opinion, hybrids are the way to play glass cannon style DK in this patch. It's used to play Magic DK in full damage specs with dual staves and light armor, and this build is a step up from that. I tested it in non-CP, in Battlegrounds, in VVEC and CP, in duels, in small scale, in 1vx. It showed very good results. So let's begin with the sets. First here we have Bloodspawn, BIS set for DK. Enough said, use it, very good for sustain, very good for defense, very good set. Next we have Shacklebreaker, pretty good set, well balanced, gives both resources, very important to have it in medium. We have 5 medium, 1 light and 1 heavy. There is no reason to run hybrid in heavy or light. Pure Stam Decay will always be better in heavy and pure Magic Decay will be better in light. Hybrids must run in medium in my opinion. We have all Tri-Stat glyph on every piece, of course. You should have at least Tri-Stat on big pieces, but I think if you're making a hybrid, you might as well spend some money on it because it's not an easy build to play. So if you're a beginner, I suggest you not start with a hybrid. So anyway, we have all medium. I have infused on big pieces, but I think the better way to run it is to have 3 or 4 well fitted. We're medium armor, our resistance is kinda sucks, so we gotta roll dodge a lot, and well fitted will help. And the rest should be impenetrable, of course. And the next set we have is... Actually, wait, it's not important to have Shacklebreaker, you can actually have some other set, it's only important that it's medium. For example, I tried Tavus Favor, it's very good, it works. So it gives the same sustain, but instead of getting a little bit more damage for more resources, you get more ultimate. Very good, it works. You can also use something like Viper or Kalurian or whatever. But I think Shacklebreaker is a good place to start, and it's a good set, anyway. So next we have, of course, Pelino's Aptitude. This is the set that makes hybrid possible. First bonus is health, it's alright. Then we have Stamina Regen and Magic Regen, pretty good, solid set. And the 5-piece bonus is your spell and weapon damage both become the highest of the 2 values. And this set is actually a busted set for DPS for DK. Let me show you why. So we're in medium armor, and we have this passive right here. Agility increases your weapon damage by 15%. Additionally, we have SDK, access to minor brutality. When you cast an Earthen Heart ability, you and your group gain minor brutality for 20 seconds, increasing your weapon damage by 10%. And we of course proc this passive by using Fossilize. So just by running Pelinals, we have 25% bonus to our weapon damage. So you can read these 5 as increase your damage by 25%. This is really good. We have 5.2k weapon and spell damage fully buffed in this build. 5.2k. Achieving something like that in light armor would be impossible, almost. At least impossible without sacrifices in sustain. But it's much easier to stack weapon damage on decay than spell damage, and this is one of the reasons why this build works. And of course we have free infused jewelry with weapon damage. It's very important to have free infused jewelry with weapon damage. This is like, yeah, this is the most important thing about this build. For weapons, I use dual wield and two-hander. I have an axe and a sword, but I think it may be better to run 2 axes just because bleeds are busted. I have Nirnholm with poison enchant. You can use flame enchant as well. Doesn't matter too much. And infused with weapon damage enchant, and on back bar I use Nirnholm Greatsword with dual poison. You can set up it differently. You can use infused with Berserker Enchant and Backbar, and here you can use Sharpened or something, doesn't matter, it's just preference. I like to run it like this. So looking at stats, we have 32 into magic and 32 into stamina to get even spread between stats. We have 26k magic and almost 26k stamina. This is not much, but for hybrid it's actually really good. Look, we have like 50k combined resources, that's pretty good. And our health is 21k almost, and of course in Cyrodiil that will be more. It's actually a pretty good health pool. Recoveries are pretty good. In Shackle Breaker I never had any problems running out of resources. Even if you do run out of one resource accidentally, you always have the second one as backup. So it's pretty difficult to run dry, although try not to run dry on stamina, because then you will die if you get stunned. Anyway, I tried this build in duels. Sometimes I do it for 15 minutes with some tanky people, and I didn't have problems with sustain for 15 minutes straight of combat. So yeah, I think it's fine. And we use Tri-Stat food, of course, and the Mondostone is Warrior. It's good for stacking damage, but you can also use the, what's it called, Lover, the penetration one. The penetration is probably better, but I just really like to have super high damage in my stats, so I run Warrior. Anyway, it's up to you. So for skills, we have on front bar is our dual wield bar. First of all, Flame Lash, of course, bread and butter, main single target spammable. When you attack an off-balance target, it becomes Power Lash, dealing more damage, costing half the magicka, and healing you for a lot. It heals you basically for 100% of damage you do. And look at this damage, we have 9.5k damage unbuffed. And buffed, we have 12k damage. Let me see if I can find the monster to show you. No, not this one, because I cannot stun it. Well, oh, here it is. Look at this, 5.2k, almost 5.3k, 12k tooltip damage. Really crazy stuff. So anyway, when we attack an off-balance enemy, this turns into Power Lash, and this is when things start getting very interesting. Because remember how I said that we roll dodge a lot? So we have this CP right here. When you use roll dodge to dodge an attack, you set the enemy off balance, which means that we will have Power Lash a lot. This is actually something that Magic Decay don't do a lot, because Magic Decay tend to block more often than roll dodge. But we're in medium armor, we roll dodge all the time, and we have Power Lash for days, and every time we heal for like 7k from each Power Lash. It's crazy, it's amazing. And also we have this passive here, increase your damage done to off-balance enemies by 10%. So not only we get crazy heal from Power Lash, but we also increase damage of all our bursts by 10%. And remember that Power Lash is no longer undodgeable as it was before. So if you use Fossilize to stun a target to get the Power Lash to proc, most of the time the target will roll dodge right after they break free, and your Power Lash will miss. So it's a good idea to wait a little bit before using Power Lash, like use something else and then use Power Lash, especially because of this 10% increased damage. Until you use Power Lash, you get 10% increased damage on them, so it's very good. Use your ultimate or something. Yeah. Power Lash, very good. Next is Fossilize, obviously must have, because it broke the brutality. This is the best CC in the game. I tried to use the other morph, but Fossilize is just better, because this heal is just not reliable and we don't really need it, and Fossilize is just so much pressure. So yeah, Fossilize, must have. Next we have Spin to Win. This ability, in my opinion, is a little OP. It does a lot of damage, it's undodgeable, it pulls Nightblade out of Invis and generates a lot of hate, by the way, from Nightblades. And it's an execute, of course. Normally, Magic ATK struggle without an execute. Magic ATK don't have execute, but Hybrid do. And this is another thing that makes this build very good. Access to execute. And also this backs up as a stamina spammable ability. When we run low on Magicka, we can use this. It's good to use if the enemy is like less than half HP. This starts doing as much damage as this. So yeah, very good. It also works well with Fossilize because we do more damage to targets that are CC'd. So you can guarantee 15% more damage from this when you use Fossilize. Yeah, pretty good synergy, I think. When I run solo though, I prefer to run the Executioner instead of this. Anyway, this is not must-have, this is just how I like to run it. Next ability is Cauterize. This is the main heal, very cheap, very strong heal with 5.2k spell damage. This thing's healed for a lot. And it also gives us crit. I tried to run the other morph, the Flames of Oblivion. I don't think it's as good. Just because the heal from Cauterize is nuts, and Flames of Oblivion actually gives both spell and weapon critical, but Cauterize only gives spell critical, but I think spell critical is more important to have, because our main single target spammable is Flame Lash. So yeah, I still think that Cauterize is must-have and it's better than Flames of Oblivion. Next ability is Blood Craze. So the one weakness that this build kinda has is lack of penetration, and we try to offset it by having a lot of bleeds. So this helps with pressure a lot. I think it's better than Burning Embers. And again, we don't really need any more heals because we already have like Cauterize and Flame Lash and all the other heals. So yeah, Blood Craze, very good. It also procs both enchants instantly and keep it procced. Very good ability, very cheap as well. For ultimate we have Flawless Dawnbreaker. So I found out that 90% of the time I use Leap as my ultimate, and I have Leap on back bar of course. And so I put the Flawless Dawnbreaker on front bar just for the sake of stats. I almost never use it. It's pretty good damage though, but yeah, just for the sake of stats. If you want, you can use something else, for example Meteor. It works pretty well, I tried, it's really fun. It's just like you one-shot people, because Fossilite is a guaranteed stun, so you can always stun people for Meteor, it's nuts. You can also use Two-Hander ult, you can use, I don't know, Corrosive Armor or Vampire ult or anything else really. You have so much variety with hybrids. So yeah. On back bar we have, first of all, Race Against Time. This is our main source of Major Expedition, and Major Expedition is very important in Cyrodiil, I think, to run away from Zerg, and yeah, very good. I use this over Quick Cloak, mainly because it's Magicka, and when we're running away, we need all stamina we can get. We already don't have too much stamina, because we're hybrid, our stat pulse is not very high, and this is Magicka ability. And not only it doesn't cost any stamina, but it also reduces the cost of sprint. So even if you're really low on stamina, you can still run away using this. And Quick Cloak just costs way too much. I find that I run out of stamina when I use Quick Cloak, and yes, I do run away, but then I cannot fight back if someone chases me because I'm out of stamina. This works. Maybe it's not as much raw power as using Quick Cloak, but this works really well just because it's so darn cheap. And of course we get the shield from thicc, it's pretty good. Shield. Yeah, pretty good. Next is Critical Rush. It's our main gap closer, it's a lot of damage, always crits. Cheap stamina ability. I tried to use the class Gap Closer, Empower Chains, but this is just more damage and it's stamina, and stamina for us is a little bit easier to get because we can get it from heavy attacking, and we just have to wait for regeneration because, yeah, you know, we don't have staves. So stamina is a little bit easier to get. Next we have Coag Blood. This is our oh shit button. You don't want to normally use it because it's so expensive, and you should primarily heal with Flame Lash and Cauterize. But when you're ganked, when you are low HP or like surrounded, this will heal you a lot and this will save your ass. This will save your ass so much that I think this is the must-have ability. And it heals for a lot again, because we have so much damage, so much weapon and spell damage. Our heals are very powerful. Look, this is 7k and I'm not even on my final form. Like, it's only 4k spell damage and I can go up to 5.3k spell damage. So yeah, this heals for a lot. Save your ass, must have, absolutely must have. Also, when you run away, you don't use your magicka for anything else, so you can just spam this thing. If you're being chased, you can spam this thing, and yeah, you don't have to think about magicka too much. Very good, very important. Next we have Rally, our source of major brutality, and another oh shit button, and this costs stamina, so yeah, if you're low on magicka you can spam this, if you're low on stamina, if you're low on stamina you can spam this, if you're low on magicka you can spam this. It's very good to have two strong burst heals. This makes you very tanky. In addition to all the passive heal that you get from Cauterize and Flame Lash, you also have two very strong burst heals. So yeah, this build is actually has very high survivability despite the fact that we're in medium armor, just because we have such powerful heals. Actually, we have more powerful heals than both Stamina Decay and Magicka Decay can have, because we have both of these kinds. We have both the best Stamina heals and the best Magicka heals. So next we have, of course, Volatile Armor, Armor buff, and a dot as well. Important to have it, must have it, because... where is it? Because of this passive, when a Draconic power active, your healing received is increased by 12%, and this is just the easiest way to have this passive active all the time, so yeah, very good. And for ultimate we have Ferocious Leaf. Of course I use this morph because it gives shield, so it can be used like to, you know, defensively. It's better I think than the other morph because of the shield. So yeah, so the thing here is that when you are offensive you have a lot of spare stamina, and when you are defensive you have a lot of spare magicka, and this is the fine balance that I got with this build. If you want to change the bar setup you have to keep it in mind. It's not really hard to understand, you will feel it very easily if you just... So yeah, I think Hybrid is very customizable, but this is just how I like to play. You can play differently, of course. This works. This is how I play in like battlegrounds and when I'm playing group. When I play solo I usually run, instead of Steel Tornado, I run Executioner and I run Quick Cloak. Yeah, just because it's like a little bit more damage. This is more like to kill Zergs and shit. You know, so CP. 32 Elemental Expert, 43 in Corrosion, a little bit more here because again our penetration is a bit low and our main spam ball is Magicka, so a bit more here. 81 Mastery at Arms, very important. 11 Physical Expert, 28 Shattering Blows, because you know, Max Orcs. Very important to have 120 in this tree because this passive is like... this passive makes the build basically. Again here, very important to have 75 to get this passive. And we have 32 in Mighty, 25 Piercing, 18 Thaumaturge. Steed we have 25 Medium Armor, 20 Spell Shield, 56 Resistance, 56 Ironclad. We have these two just to like increase our resistance a little bit because of Medium Armor. 40 Thick Skinned, 23 Elemental Defender, 23 Hardy, 27 Quick Recovery, 48 Warlord, 16 Sprinter, 9 Bastion Focus, 1 Siphoner. It's very important to have 1 Siphoner because this shows up as a debuff on the enemy, and when enemy has a lot of debuff they tend to panic, so yeah, it's just... this is the best 1 point that you can spend in the CP. 56 Mooncalf, 64 Arcanist, we have 120, of course we have all the passives, not very important but nice to have. 56 Tumbling, we roll dodge a lot, 20 in Shadow Ward just in case we need to block. So yeah, that's it for CP. So, oh shit. So yeah, that's it for the build. I will make a gameplay video later. It's hard for me to record because my PC kinda sucks, but I hope this will encourage someone to experiment with hybrids. I think they're really cool and they're not as bad as people think, especially DK. I think DK is the best race to build hybrid just because it's so easy to get high weapon damage, and also like as a stamina decay you get access to a good spammable with a hybrid, and as a magic decay you get access to good execute as a hybrid and higher damage as a hybrid. So yeah, I think hybrids is very good. So if you have any question, feel free to ask in the comments, and peace.